Let's take some steps back and try to look at the possibility of the culinary journey of Remy, part of something way bigger and just getting started. Pixar, in collaboration with Disney, was looking at doing something pretty amazing with the singular Ratatouille movie that was released in 2007. Over a decade ago, this masterpiece featured rats and humans in a culinary setting animation. Let's put it in simpler grammar. Rats and humor sharing a kitchen? Now this was a storyline that got me reeling and tumbling. Ratatouille was one of those movies that was obviously underrated. Over the last couple of years, there have been some movies that have been a major standout and somewhat of a kind of hit in the industry. In this case, Ratatouille was a major hit for Disney at the time. It made Disney over $600 million, and damn, that was a lot of wad from one movie. Even Tangled didn't make that much when it was released in 2010. So yeah, Ratatouille won a couple of awards and was recognized at the time. They won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, but so many people don't really remember Ratatouille that much because it's been so long since we've heard anything similar to it. The movie features a rat and a human coming together, which seems pretty weird as normally rats and humans don't get along. It's so awkward to see a rat cooking. It doesn't really make sense, but it's Disney. You let your imagination do the talking. So many people are rather disappointed when they see the review of the movie, but watching it would only solidify the notion, don't judge a book by its cover. The movie Ratatouille has been underrated due to the release of Toy Story and its several sequels, each one being better than the last. This leaves us to ask the question, what would be the case if Ratatouille had its own sequel? Would it be fairly rated if it had a sequel, and does it really deserve a sequel? There are several factors to consider to know if a particular show deserves a sequel or not.
Welcome to hell.
We'll be looking into quite a number of them in the next couple of moments. The question in mind of so many is that Ratatouille is among the top-rated Pixar movies of all time by most film critics. Besides the movie WALL-E, Ratatouille holds this trophy, leaving fans to question why Ratatouille doesn't have a sequel yet. Unlike Disney, Pixar is no stranger to making sequels of their own movies. So why hasn't a sequel of Ratatouille been made yet? Not every movie franchise would get the love and affection that Toy Story got, making them have several sequels in its name and even planning to make a fourth sequel, Toy Story 5. And yes, understandably, sometimes creating sequels of movies actually ends up ruining the entire movie and doesn't in some cases work out as planned. Plus, there is no argument, but the fans believe that there are several reasons why it deserves another movie. Because in the first movie, there's always something to continue in the next, and the next. It brings about a kind of continuity, and the interest in wanting another part is hugely increased. Take Toy Story, for example. Andy, from a very little boy, grew up to be a teenager, and the evolution of adventures by his toys continued. Each and every sequel taught a very important lesson to the kids watching it, teaching them morals and instigating kindness and a lot of other values in them. Now, back to Ratatouille. Personally, I believe it has the ability to have a sequel. We just need someone to take the risk in believing in the show being a success. Ratatouille superstar Patton Oswalt, the man who played the main character Remy that made the Ratatouille meal, was teasing during an interview in 2007, saying that it's possible that a sequel could be years down the road. He further explained that it would have to be the perfect and straightforward story, and also stated that the studio would pretty much make the movie at their own pace. His words were as quoted. So maybe there will be a sequel. It could be years down the road, but they're not saying. All right. 2 summers from now, there's got to be a sequel. Of course, I would love to do a sequel to this movie, but I would love to do it the way Pixar does it, which is, oh, we've got just the right story, and they'll do it at their own pace. Those were the words of the star actor of the movie. So let's dive into it more. Now, this isn't a story of a country rat and a city rat where the rats were on heels running for their lives. They are actually collaborating with the humans in this culinary wonderland experience for both the rats and chefs partnering with the rats. So who would be the character presented in the next possible sequel? Of course, Remy and Linguini behind the stove, ready for some scrumptious cooking action. Oh, and of course, the wonderful and amazingly beautiful girlfriend of Linguini, Colette, who, by the way, ended up kissing towards the end due to Remy pushing him to fall onto her to prevent him from talking any further. This man had no damn steez, but his friend Remy saved him and sparked a moment they both would never forget. That moment sparked the romantic relationship they both share. If only it was that easy to get a girl to fall in love with you in this age and time. Well, it's pretty hard now to find love, but Linguini and Colette have an amazing love story. Recall the scene where Remy makes an attempt to escape after adding ingredients to the soup, making it better, but Skinner spots him. Linguini manages to catch him properly and traps him in a jar. Skinner then orders Linguini to take Remy out to kill him. He really couldn't kill him. He decided to take him home as his pet. Since the soup was amazing due to Remy's addition, he was able to justify the fact that he couldn't kill such a talented rat. Plus, he almost got fired that day if not for the intervention of Colette and the customer loving and enjoying the soup that Linguini, scoff scoff, Remy made. A twist can easily be generated here as the sequel can easily start a scenario whereby, since it's been a long time, Colette and Linguini are old enough and get married and are established enough that the pair decide to start their own restaurant. And who else to be the main chef of the restaurant but their very own Remy? A new character that might be speculated to be an amazing addition would be Andrew Stanton, who is a Pixar legend and directed the amazing movie WALL-E and also Finding Nemo. It'll be a joy to watch Andrew take on the director role since Brad has no interest in making a franchise of Ratatouille, as he rigidly stated in 2007. Andrew Stanton was one of the original producers for the amazing Toy Story, so if anyone is capable of restoring the long-forgotten Ratatouille and doing an amazing job with it, then Stanton is your man because he knows what goes into making captivating stories. He has worked with Pixar to create several sequels, and they were not regrettable movies, but amazing hits. Jared Bush from Disney would be an amazing co-director for Andrew, reason being that he's currently directing the Zootopia 2 movie after he directed blockbuster movies like Encanto and also co-directing Zootopia before being the sole director of Zootopia 2. It'll be looking like we want to create a Robert Downey Jr.-esque movie. It's gonna be very creative to have these bright minds work together to bring this imagination to realization. They both have amazing talents to captivate and completely sweep us off our feet. Oh damn. Just thinking about it, I feel we're gonna be sold out on the first day of release. He also wrote the storyline of Moana, and what an amazing storyline that was, alongside the storyline of Zootopia. I wonder what he's cooking for viewers in Zootopia. It's looking like a Superman and Thor duo. These men are gonna cook.
What is that?
I don't really know.
The first movie ended as Remy had his own restaurant and he was not feeding humans but also his rat friends, alongside the romantic relationship between Colette and Linguini. But for me, this would only be a starting point for Remy's dream as a chef. Integrating the end of this movie production to the beginning of the incoming sequel, refreshing the memories of old fans of Ratatouille who enjoyed the rat-human relationship that they both shared and the very wonderful friendship between them, instilling good and well-valued morals into individuals watching it. Making a sequel would continue the very heartwarming story of Ratatouille, and the cooking additions and variants in the show would get adults on their seats readily enjoying the several sectors of the franchise, teaching kids the values of friendship and the importance of following your passion. And hoping on the idea that if a sequel of Ratatouille is made, we relate the love and respect the first edition had, and then it'll be all smiles from there onward.